Hello, I'm Ólöf Arnalds. We're gonna have a little chat about my music. I'd say what combines the two records, the first and the second, is that the basis of the tracks are whole takes of me playing and singing, but on the new record I have more people playing with me. But it's like whole live takes, so that's in a way that, that's what sort of stayed the same between the two processes. But of course the second record is much, has more elaborate arrangements and more instrumentation and stuff like this. I was just, hungry for collaboration, I think. I just wanted to bring people in and because I before I started doing my solo stuff, I'd always been I'd always been collaborating with so many people on their music, and I sort of missed it, being in this dialogue with people and, figuring out stuff. And I think I've remained sort of true to that I want the songs to be written that way, that they can stand alone with only me playing and singing them. So I would say that, even though I've brought in more people to do more parts, I'm still limited to that on this record. I think I'd be curious to even like have one more person, maybe, so that there'd be the three of us, because I'd like to start trying maybe, putting aside the instrument and, focusing a little bit more on the voice. In a way, I always have my attention, split between the guitar and the voice, and I'd like to explore my voice more. So I might wanna, try out maybe for the next record, when I start touring the next record, to have more people with me. I think that you can always, you can work songs out in different ways, and I feel, for example, when I'm, so when I'm going into the studio, I don't have a plan about how the songs are gonna sound. It's more of a intuitive process and collaborative process. But yeah, and for when I play live, I very often change the way I play and change the way I sing, and so nothing's really locked in. I like to keep things open. I've written like 20 songs, and I'm now sort of in the process of choosing which ones I want to develop further. And for the last record, I'd like written 18 songs, and then I recorded like 12, and then 9 of them went on the record. So it's like, and now all of a sudden I'm up with like around 20 songs. I was counting them the other day, the ideas. So I would say that I'm at that place in the process of finalizing songs, and then there's always, once I've got some that I want to write, then maybe new ones pop up, and so I'm pretty close to start recording again. I think I want to start recording like beginning of January. As much as a song is completed and infinite once it's been recorded, I don't feel that. I don't feel any angst because of it, having become in some way, because I just think, okay, that's the direction it took, and I just like to move on and think about the next thing. I don't like to be retrospecting too much, on my work. Sometimes I feel later, when I start playing the songs again and again, that maybe I disagree with the tempo on the record, or something like this. But that's why I'm also like trying now to play songs live, once they're sort of ready, so that I get used to how it is to play them live and have an idea about what they feel like live before I take them to the studio. I think playing a song that's half written or not fully completed is a very natural part of the process for me, because that's how I've always been working. It's more like, when I started writing songs, I was like, really like shy just playing them to my friends, like, what do you think, is this something? And I always find my songs like kind of strange, or they're just what they are, and I'm just like, oh, I want to try them out. And it's just music. Music for me is very visual. I basically I memorize music by visualizing it, and I've done that since I was a kid, that I understand music like that. So there's like a whole like huge world of visual information behind each song. And when I was working on the record cover for the new record, I was working with Ásdísi, who did the cover. We were like meeting up and doing videos, so like all the pictures in the cover are like stills from videos that both from her work and also from things that we did collaboratively. So yeah, the visual world is very important to me too. And I've also done some, when I was in school, I also did some music, video pieces with live playing and stuff. So yeah, it's really important to me, and I think that I would like to explore further my output also in that way. I'd be curious to go into more. I'd like to explore a bit more the live streaming technology, and so that's sort of what I want to do maybe for my next record. I'm just gonna do my next record normally, but then I'm building up a project around my next record that's going to be very visual as well. When I met with the director, who was an old friend of mine, Siggi Kinski, we both had a feeling that we were interested in having male and female struggling choreography, and we'd both been thinking about the same dancer, Damien Gillette, who choreographed and dances with me in the video. So it was kind of like, oh, you've also been thinking about him, cool. And then it was really good because Damien happened to be in Iceland working with Erna Ómarsdóttir, and they were working with the dance company, Icelandic dance company. So he sort of like gave himself time to meet me every day, like for 2 hours, and train me in all these crazy moves. So, and then we wanted like the look of the video to be not necessarily specific to Iceland, because I wanted to and I want to break free from my music being too identified with where I come from. So we sort of chose a place, even though it's in Iceland, that could be it could be anywhere, like it could be in Germany or Sweden or wherever. It's not a particularly Icelandic environment. So yeah, and then it's all shot on two Super 8 cameras. It was really rainy day, so it was a really hardcore process, like raining, and we were like cold to the bone and all like scratched and bruised, so it was like a lot of work. But I think it was worth it. I'm really happy with the outcome. I thought, when I went to the first dance rehearsal, and I was just like, oh, where has this been all my life? It's just like, because I'm a very active person, and I felt great about exploring music and expressing music with my whole body, instead of just these fine movements that the playing an instrument allows. Yeah, so I'd be curious to do some more dancing as well. I think that throwing myself into the making of the Surrender video is I really like felt that I was extending myself a lot, and challenging myself to a limit that I hadn't done before, because it was, such a risk, and I didn't know like if it would, be become good or completely horrible, and I leave that up to others to judge. But yeah, I think the surrender video is maybe the biggest experience, and I guess that in the making of the record, because it was a pretty long process with some breaks in between, and I just feel that I'm starting to get a closer sense of what my aesthetic is, and I'm becoming better at communicating it, so that I'm excited to start working on the next record where I can express myself even better about what it is that I want, and because that's been like I've sometimes had problems with explaining what it is that I imagine or hear in my mind.